Okay, I'm going to try another stream here. We seem to be having some technical difficulties with Facebook, with the live streaming thing here. Started again here. Let me know if you guys are there. Let me know if you can see me. Just going to open this up and see if I can see me. Let's see. Are you guys there? Let me know if you're there. We'll see if we get this thing working again. I think we're good. I've got me over here. I hope that you guys have been able to find this. Let me know if you're there. Let me know if you're hanging out, and I hope that we can get this working. What I had started saying in the other broadcast, actually, I'm just going to comment here and see if you guys are there. Let me know if you can see me. Let me know if you guys are there. We'll see. Looks like it's working. Thank you, Ulrika. Okay, so there we go. Technical difficulties on a Monday morning, right? Apparently my computer hasn't had enough coffee. Apparently I haven't had enough. I've had enough coffee. Definitely had enough coffee. But hey, I guess that's what this is all about. We are all just pivoting left, right, and center. So what I was saying in the other stream is I just wanted to touch base and sort of see before we get into the content and the lesson for today. Love just to hear how it has been for you so far, having been off now for sort of seems like it's been around 3 weeks for most people. I know that for us at Sprout, we've now been working remote for just over 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks now, I think. It's been an adjustment for us. Obviously, I know it's been an adjustment for you guys. Would love to hear sort of what it's been like for you getting into a new pattern, getting into a new routine. You're working from home. Perhaps you weren't working from home before. Even if you were working from home before, obviously, things have changed. If you've got kids, they're probably now at home. If you're used to having shoots all the time, obviously you're not doing that. If you're used to having meetings, you're obviously not doing that. So just would love to hear and just kind of touch base with you guys and sort of see how you're doing through all of this. One of the things that is different as of this weekend for me I've got my home office here set up. We have obviously a Sprout studio offices that we all typically go to, but the whole team's been working remote ever since this all started. And my home office, I had this nice desk set up, and it was more a aesthetically pleasing desk setup than it was necessarily a functional or an ergonomic one. It's good for me to pop in if I need to just do something quickly for an hour, but certainly I never ergonomically designed the workspace in my office to be conducive to me working full time there. And I just found over the past 2 weeks working at a desk at a height level with a setup that it wasn't ergonomically set up properly. I found that my back was getting sore, my spine was getting sore, and I could feel it even in my body. And so over the weekend, I actually went and grabbed my stand-up desk from my Sprout office. It's a sit-stand desk, so I can bring it up and down. Check this out. Wee. Anyways, I can bring it up and down. So I grabbed that. Took me, hour and a half. I went and grabbed it, brought it here, set it all up, and just sort of getting into more of a permanent setup here. And I think that's something that is really important for us. Yeah. So actually, Kev just said here, keeping routine has been key. It's helped so much with giving normalcy to our lives. We've been doing Zoom meetings, not in person. Yeah, for sure, Kev. So that's it. And I think that's one of the things I came to the realization of over the weekend, and just kind of wanted to poke on you guys to see what you're doing, because this is going to be the new norm for a little bit, guys. I think that's the reality. Obviously, there's a lot of predictions, a lot of folks throwing their own opinion at it, but just from what I've been able to see and everything that I've seen happening in the news and what is happening with the World Health Organization and CDC and the recommendations of our governments, I think that we can certainly expect this to be going on this way for at least another month, if not more. Who knows, right? So I think now is the time. Yes, we're talking here in the live broadcast and in the Facebook or in the 14-day marketing challenge program about marketing and sales and business and growth and how we can make up for the revenue here and book more clients. But the other thing too that I just think that we all need to be open with each other and help each other through is we're all adjusting to a bit of a new norm here. This is a different thing, and I know for me, instead of just pretending that this is this temporary thing, in my head, getting into a pattern and getting into a new routine has been helpful in sort of getting into this space here. So yeah, that's why I'm here at my stand-up desk. And so I hope that you guys are doing well, and I hope that you are adjusting okay and sort of finding some kind of pattern that you can follow in your own business here and in your own life. Okay, so a couple things before we get into the content. I'm going to be talking about mini sessions today, and in fact, I'm going to be bringing in an interview that I recorded last week with Phillip Blumes, all about how you can be running mini sessions, how you can maximize mini sessions, and specifically how you can get that going and kick that off right now during this crisis and during this pandemic, because obviously we can't be shooting mini sessions right now. But before I do, I wanted to point out, I talked about this on Friday. We wrote this on Friday. I emailed it on Friday. So I hope that you have seen it by now. If not, I want to point your attention to it, because right now we're going through this time, and I'm sure you're seeing it, no doubt. I know I certainly am in my own photography business. I just had 2 rescheduled weddings happen, one that got canceled, a whole bunch of sessions obviously that aren't happening now because of all this. And you're probably, just going through all this and you're saying, like, how do I deal with this? How do I deal with deposits? How do I deal with deferring all these payments for things that are rescheduling, especially for weddings? How do I communicate with my clients? What do I say to them? How do I show up? Should I be approaching somebody whose wedding is in July? Do I even tackle that, right? So there's a whole bunch of uncertainty right now, and we wrote an article and we basically put together a guide that is literally like step by step. Here's everything that you have to do, and here's how you need to show up. Here's who you need to reach out to, and here are some suggestions on how you can approach this to your clients. And then further to that, in the article and in the guide, I basically have 5 suggestions on how you can make this crisis and all these reschedules and cancellations, how you can make that less of a burden on your financial cash flow. Because the thing is if you were used to having 5 weddings, this in the next couple of months that you're now having to either cancel, hopefully not, or reschedule and move to next year, that's 5 weddings worth of income that you were anticipating having for this season that now is going to be deferred for an entire year. That could be a significant burden depending on how you have planned financially and how you've forecasted everything that you do in your business and how you've planned your life and so on and so forth. That could be a massive burden on your cash flow. And so I've got 5 suggestions on there on how you can have that be less of a burden. I want to quickly just show it to you because I think it's going to be super, super helpful for many of you guys. And if there's enough interest, now I wrote it initially from the perspective of wedding photographers, but if you are interested in hearing or in seeing one from a different perspective, perhaps as a newborn photographer or as a family portrait photographer or as a boudoir photographer, let me know, even just right now, comment in there, let me know what different perspective you'd like to see this adapted to, and I'm happy to write a version of this and basically clone everything, duplicate all the content, but to make all the suggestions contextual to different niches in photography. So if you're interested, let me know, or if you think you can extrapolate your own ideas based on your own niche from this, then that's cool too. But let me know if you'd like. So basically the ultimate guide to wedding photographers dealing with the coronavirus crisis. So in here, again, I've got, suggestions on who you should be reaching out to, how you should be showing up, what you should be saying, the different options that they're going to have, what expectations you should be making clear for them. So here's the details about rebooking fees, and here's the thing about rescheduling, and here's our details about cancellation fees. And then down here, I basically go into all the different ideas on how you can make up for that lost revenue or that deferred revenue. So, offer a monthly payment plan or offer a restructured payment plan. And I even give very specific suggestions and how you can pitch it to your clients so that they're more likely to accept that alternative method of payment. building a new monthly payment plan for new weddings. That's a great way to sort of offset some of that cash flow burden. And then I've got 2 promotional opportunities that you can offer to existing clients. That's going to be a win-win, a win for them and a win for you. So I go into all of those and then just kind of wrapping it up here. But it's a fairly beefy guide, to be honest, but it's pretty thorough and pretty all-inclusive. And I think that if you are a wedding photographer, if you are, a photographer in general, I think every photographer can benefit from this. I think you can adapt it for different genres of photography, but designed it to be sort of the one go-to place to help you through this stuff, to help you figure out how to approach it, how to deal with it, how to talk to your clients, what to say, what options to give them, and then how you can recover financially from everything that's happened here. So I would love to point you in that direction. If you go to getsproutstudio.com, actually, let me point this out again. If you just go to getsproutstudio.com, let me just show this to you because maybe you guys aren't familiar with all the content that we have. If you go up to community and if you click articles right here, then it's going to go into all the articles that we have, and you have probably seen these swipe copy ones. We've got contract templates and email templates for rescheduling this stuff with your clients. I mean, obviously we have tons of content here for gift guides to giving back to books you should be reading, so on and so forth. But yeah, this is the article right here. So if you click on that, you can go ahead and go through that and enjoy it. And I think, the thing that needs to be said, you might go onto that article and see that there was a bit of a nasty comment left on Friday when we published this. It was someone that just thought that we were trying to take advantage of this situation and post content to help our Google rankings, which I want to address that. That is absolutely not the case. There is no mention of Sprout Studio in any of this guidance and help and articles and content that we've been putting out for you guys through this marketing challenge. This is not about Sprout Studio. I guess I just want to make sure that you guys know that this is not about Sprout Studio. This is not about us getting sales. This is not about us getting new customers. We're trying not to mention Sprout Studio at all through any of this stuff. We are just trying to show up to help our industry, to help our community, to help the tribe that we've built, and to help you guys as photographers get through this. If you're watching this and you're a Sprout Studio user, thank you. If you're watching this and you're not, that's fine. I'm not trying to convince you to be a Sprout Studio user through this. I've been a photographer myself for 15 years. Justin has been a photographer. Rob has been a photographer. We've got entrepreneurs on staff. We know what it's like to be in your shoes. And not only do I have Sprout Studio, I am an educator for photographers outside of being the CEO and founder of Sprout Studio. And so this whole marketing challenge, all of these emails, all these resources we're putting together for you guys have nothing to do with Sprout Studio. So I just want to make sure that you guys are on board with that and you guys are aware of that. We're not trying to, by any means, take advantage of the situation. We are just pouring ourselves into the industry because we want to help you guys get through this, because at the end of this crisis, when the dust settles, when we're all back to normal, we want you guys to still be photographers. That's where we're at the end of the day. We want to try and do anything we can to help you get through that and to help you weather this storm. So if the photographer that left that nasty comment on there is watching this, I hope that perhaps that gives you a bit of a different insight into why and how we are doing all of this. We are not doing this for search engine rankings. We are not doing this in any way to promote Sprout Studio. This is just to help our industry and to show up and to do anything we can to help you guys. And so I'll say it again, and I've said it before, but if there's any other way that you think that we can help you through these difficult times, whether it's email templates or contracts or guidance or ideas or suggestions or questions or anything, if there's anything we can do to help you, we are here for you. Please let us know. We are pivoting pretty much every day with this stuff and adding content and coming up with new ideas and just expanding this. I mean, this initially started as a 14-day marketing challenge. I think we've now planned out up to 23 days. We're just trying to add more ideas to help you guys generate more revenue so that you don't go out of business, so that you don't go bankrupt, so that you don't have to go and find a part-time job when this is all done because photography hasn't been able to sustain you. We're trying to show up for you guys to help you guys, and that's why we're here. That's why we're doing this. So I wanted to set the record clear on that. So with that being said, let's transition over. I recorded an interview last week with Phillip Bloom all about mini sessions. Phillip and his wife Eileen teach this amazing system for booking mini sessions, for how to do mini sessions and make them massively profitable. It is the core of their business now. And they have an amazing course, an amazing system to teach it. And I basically said, Phillip, we need to get you on the podcast to dive into all this stuff. How can photographers do this? And how does the sort of optics and the mechanics of it change from when you would normally do a mini session promotion to obviously how a photographer would have to do it now. So I recorded that interview. It's actually in two parts because we had a technical interruption. So I'm going to play the first part and then I'll come back, quickly chat with you, and then come back with the second part. If you have questions, if you want to talk about it, if you want to throw ideas out, if you want to, whatever, again, I'm here, I'm watching it live, and so I'm happy to pause it, come back in, answer questions, and chat with you guys. So let's go over that interview right now, and then I'll come back at the end and we can chat through it. So here we go. And hope the internet doesn't blow up because I'm just like streaming everything right now. Okay, so then start with me then, Phillip. Like talking about mini sessions and sustainability in uncertain times like this right now. What are some things that photographers can do to keep the ship afloat?
Yeah, absolutely. So to answer that sort of directly is your traditional mini sessions are not the right thing to do to stay afloat right now. Most people hate the idea of mini sessions in general because you try them because you see other people doing them and you feel like you got to kind of, they must be doing well or else why would they do it? And then you do it and you find out that nobody should be because it's just a big use of your time and energies and it's not very profitable, doesn't sustain your business. So I always start with that because Eileen and I kind of fell upon this weird pivot on mini sessions, this version of mini sessions that we have done for a decade now in a time such as this. So it's crazy. Our whole education brand for the last decade has become focused on helping photographers to restructure their businesses for diversification and to either in hard economies or rebuild. And so excited that has been our story when our business was ready to fail. This maximize mini sessions has helped us. And we're able to see just hundreds of examples of photographers using it in different markets around the country to do the same. Right now it's multiplying. So yeah, I would love to just kind of, as much as I can pack in with you here, answer any questions and explain what that system is, basically how it differs from traditional mini sessions.
Yeah, that would be amazing because I think the thing that so many photographers, when they think of mini sessions, I think that there's like a stereotype, right, when it comes to like thinking about mini sessions and how they structure it, and even to an extent, I think that we probably are partially at fault as photographers in educating the public about what that means when you hire a photographer for mini sessions. I see it like on my own personal Facebook, and I've got friends and stuff, and they'll be like, anyone running like Easter minis this year? And like they're looking for the like $69 mall Santa kind of option. Obviously that's not what you guys are teaching.
It's not really even a stereotype because literally you can do a sort of a non-scientific research on this. You go to Instagram and hashtag mini sessions.
Right.
At that seasonal time of year, and you will get hundreds and hundreds of people around the whole world doing the same thing. It's generally what we found is the average is $100 to $150, and your clients get 20 minutes or 30 minutes with you and 10 digital images. And it's kind of I think photographers especially want to try it because often we're just desperate for some work.
Yeah.
And so we throw it out there as kind of a filler in our calendar. And we think it'll be a simple system, at least it's not very involved and we can just hand over images. But with client communication, everything enters the picture. It becomes a little more involved than we want, and the profit is almost nothing. Yeah. So that said, I'll just want to kind of be an open book and let people know exactly what we do.
Yeah.
And also open book, like we have a whole mastermind and full paid course of this that students are in, getting just going hours and hours deep in and like not just the ideas but the tools that we put in their hands to put it. So we can't fit it all into this podcast, but I'll give as much as I can possibly. Ultimately, the problem with mini sessions is that for one thing, as a business, you're not breaking the mold or interrupting the pattern at all. Everyone's doing the same thing out there. So the way that we start our mini sessions process at the beginning is completely counterintuitive. Our average sale in our studio now, and we've been doing this for a decade, but is around $1,200 to $1,500 per 20-minute mini session, and we can just pack them in all weekend long. And with that average sale, a print sale that results from every mini session, it has become the number one profitable. It's the motor, the engine of our business.
Yeah.
Even though we are luxury wedding photographers, and if you go to our website, you'll see no portrait work. You will not see mini sessions. You will not see families. You'll only see our wedding work. Some of it destination stuff, some of it in nice places locally. But behind the scenes, even those destination weddings is not what has put our studio on the map. It is literally mini sessions. And so we're doing this twice a year now. We do it in spring and fall, and we advertise not $100 or $150 session. We advertise, and now people are going to hate me for this, but we advertise $49 mini sessions. And that is our loss leader. So it kind of breaks the pattern. It grabs somebody's interest. But then our advertisements are also, they're strategically written, but they're also full disclosure. So within that $49, it's clear that it's only going to be the session fee, and then they can order prints and digitals afterward. So a lot of clarity on that. And we even reinforce that clarity when we have them inquire with us about the session. But the great thing is that loss leader, it makes people think, okay, well, there can't be much included here. And so we're changing their expectations about what a mini session is. They realize there can't be much included, $49. We used to do $29 because we're in one of the highest poverty level markets in the country where we live. And some of our students are doing $99, but we just found $49 is a sweet spot for us. People know that is kind of going to make sure that they don't cancel. That's enough value that they're going to keep their spot once they book, but they don't expect a lot to be included, especially when advertising is making it sound very appealing and kind of ability as photographers. So that's all kind of step one. And then rather than just advertise and be like, please reach out to us, we would love for you to come in to our website and search around, and you'll be so impressed that you email us and set up a time. Instead of that, we have a really very careful step-by-step automation that, and this is probably the number one golden rule for anyone who's tried Facebook advertising or something like that and it's failed and you just gave up on it. There's probably a link that was broken in that chain, and it was that you didn't have a direct link to a landing page rather than to your website, or just ask them to email you. If you draw them in with your ad and send them straight to what we call a landing page, which is basically a one-page website that has no links to anywhere else that you can go or get lost or get distracted, and the whole website is focused on answering questions that we know customers through psychology, study of marketing psychology, we know that these are the questions they have. We answer them, and then we call them to action, book now. And then after that, it's a series of several emails that actually, they do the equivalent of what we used to do when we owned brick and mortar stores.
Right.
A client used to come in, and we would introduce ourselves to them and say, hey, what's your name? And then we would guide them by the hand through the store. We did this in my dad's swimming pool and hot tub business when I was a pool boy in the summers. We got to know the clients. And it was because we had some loss leader that drew them in, and then we proved to them that we were an expert and we could help them. Then it all results in a capital T trust factor. And we know from studies that trust is the number one quality that leads people to book and to spend more. And so all of it is just that process. And that's where we go. What we end up having is a ton of inquiries.
Yeah.
And we don't try to book them all.
Right.
This is where it blows their mind. They're like, I'm so used to when I get an inquiry, I will do anything I can. I will bargain. I will haggle. I will give in on requests, anything I can to book that client. That's not at all what we do in our business anymore. We will draw in tons of leads this way, but we will actually try to sift out more people than we allow to book. And that has just resulted in so many ideal clients, not just through Facebook advertising, but through business partnerships. And I'll end with this because this is kind of an interesting twist. We do partnerships with businesses and nonprofit charities so that our sessions also have the opportunity to give back, which is so important right now. Not only sustain your business, but sustain it so that it can do good. If your business fails, a starving artist cannot feed the hungry. You are no good to anybody if your business fails.
Right.
So how can you sustain your business right now? You don't need to feel guilty about that. You don't need to give away your photography. It is a valuable tool that you have to do greater good for the long term. And so not just Facebook ads, but those partnerships really bring all of our ideal clients to us as well.
Yeah, I love it. Couple points of clarification that I can imagine photographers curious about right now. Number one, you mentioned Facebook ads. Would you say that is the number one source of traffic to the landing page, or do you do other advertising as well?
Yeah, I would say for some of our students, it is right at the beginning. But ultimately, I love this maximized system. We found like the brilliant thing about it is it's not just good for photographers. It honestly it helps photographers understand what is it that ideal clients are actually looking for, and they're not just looking for photographs. Ideal clients. There's this awesome study that was done across all English-speaking countries across the world. It was done over about 20-year span, long-term marketing study. And they found that about half the population falls into a personality group and a marketing group called NEOs, and almost no photographers are marketing to them. Almost everyone is marketing to traditionals, another type of marketing group who just want bargain rates, bargain prices. But if we market to NEOs, what the study found is that NEOs are not looking for bargain prices, even when the economy is down. This study, the numbers held up even during the Great Recession and all those sorts of things. NEOs are looking for experience. And so what we find is through this process that we take the clients through, we only spend 20 minutes with them in person, but the communication process that's built up gives them such a great experience. And they walk away with something tangible and lasting, the prints that they order. And that's part of this experience that they're looking for, that we end up with clients that after you get your first bunch in, almost all of our business is return clients after that.
Oh, okay.
And so it becomes, instead of, again, we're wedding photographers.
So you can see that's where Phillip froze. So we paused the interview and then we restarted it. So you're about to see part number 2. But just quick check-in. Hope you guys are enjoying this so far. And in the next part here, we go into a lot of the things that you need to be changing right now in how you offer mini sessions and how you would promote it. So hang tight for that. And then again, prepare questions. Feel free to ask questions in the comments below as we're going through this. And then at the end of this, I'll come back in and we can have a good discussion about this. Okay, so here comes part 2. Record again and record again. So you were talking about how, you got it. Carry
got
on.
it. So any business in any industry that is successful will tell you that the foundation of successful business is a strong, loyal customer base, return clients. And yet wedding photographers, and so many of us, that's what we are. We know we don't get a lot of return clients. Like, even if they get divorced and are going to get married again, they don't necessarily come back to us the second time, right? So it doesn't exist for a lot of photographers. And it's brilliant because if you have a loyal return customer, your ROI, return on investment, it becomes so high because you're not paying for advertisement. You're not putting in so much time to answer Q&A back and forth over email to win the new client. You've already done all that with them once.
Yeah.
Now they just come back to you and know what to expect. And so return clients cost you almost nothing in advertising. It's brought our business to an almost zero budget for marketing. Now it's just an email list. And our email list exists because of those first couple seasons of marketing our mini sessions. And now it's just reminding clients, hey, it's time to come back in. And we have a backyard business. Like, we run our business through our backyard. We do it in some other really fun strategic ways too, so that we're actually doing mini sessions all year round, even though we only advertise it twice a year.
Okay.
And so it's just been a ball because it allows us the freedom financially to take our 3 kids and world school them, shoot a destination wedding, and do those things without having to strap and make it work like we're chasing down clients all the time.
Right. So Philip, I mean, obviously there's a whole system, and we're going to encourage photographers to dive into that system, and we're going to get links and everything to everything that you and Eileen offer for that. For photographers that are going through, well, I mean, every photographer is going through this crisis right now, but for everyone right now in this state that we're in. Talk to me about how you might shift, if at all. Would you
Yeah,
shift this
exactly.
strategy, or how can they just get started in small ways, just to kind of get the wheels going?
Exactly. Yeah. So, this is great because we can be so specific here. This is literally the class that Eileen and I were about to teach at a conference, and of course, along with every other convention, got
Mm-hmm.
canceled. It was ironic that it was canceled at a time that we wanted to teach photographers how to make sustainable businesses in hard times. But the twist that we're putting on this, and it's really, we're using the same system. We're just we are pitching it in our email marketing to our clients a little differently. If you have a client email base, all you have to do, almost no matter where you live, like even if you're in a place that has public lockdown of restaurants and things, you can still go to your ideal client. Like, who's one client you've had that's been great? Go to them, use them as a proof of concept. So get pictures that you've already taken of them, create a little landing page. You can just, when I say landing page, even if you don't have the software to do this, that like we help our students with and give them, you can do this as a blog post. This is how we did it for 3 years when we first started doing it. We create a single blog post with those strategic messages and a call to action at the bottom. Email this one email address. So you can do it in a blog post, but have them partner with you and share that you're doing like front yard mini sessions. It's the exact same system as we always do, but instead of them coming to a public park or coming to our backyard, you can actually go door to door in that single neighborhood. Now, I just yesterday, someone linked to me and said, "Hey, look, someone's doing a version of what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
They're just going front porch to front porch and taking 3 pictures. This is kind of the system that people are doing right now, just to be kind, and I think it's wonderful. But it misses some ingredients of opportunity, I feel like, because Eileen and I always teach photographers. There is such an opportunity to do more with your charity as a studio, and because charity is, to us, that's why our business exists. Our business arm for the causes that we care about. And there's such an missed opportunity if all we do is give our charity away in terms of giving someone 3 pictures. Like, that's wonderful, and it will warm their hearts. But most of our clients who we're still working with, like the ones who can't afford it right now, who are scared, they're not going to book. That's fine. They are filtered out. Plenty of them have, in these beautiful neighborhoods down the road from us, they have a thriving online business right now. They are serving customers and helping them, and they're making a lot of money, and they're not worried. They are very happy to support us as small businesses right now, in fact, and they're thrilled to do it. And not only are we able to keep our businesses alive for the future for important things we want to do when this returns to normal, but we're simultaneously giving a portion of these proceeds right now to important charities that are doing hard work right now.
Yeah.
So I always say triangulate your strategy if you want to be the most effective. Who all can you help bring into this instead of just doing something that's sort of feel goody? What can you really do to improve the lives of as many people as possible? And that's what we're doing by not just going to whatever neighborhood like the one we used to live in. You would not get any clients in there who would be interested in this system. But go to the right ideal client in the right neighborhood. You can do this door to door and spend a little extra time. We're not just doing it on the front porch. We're still leading them through. We're staying at a distance and practicing all the hygiene, but we're still leading them through what is really for us a therapeutic process that allows our family subjects to connect with one another. And that's what our system's all about, allowing them to connect. And when they see the images later, they feel those same connections. They actually meant something. And so it becomes a very high volume print order as a result.
Yeah, I love that. And I guess one of the things I want to be mindful of, because it's funny, I shared actually a link to the front porch. I think it's called Front Step Sessions or whatever.
Yeah, it's
whatever
great.
It was.
It's such a beautiful
it's
concept.
such a neat idea. I shared it the other day in our community, and
Admittedly, Philip, it got some pretty mixed reviews. There was a lot of controversy around it. I actually ended up shutting the thread down, and
Yeah.
so before
Interesting, isn't it?
it's
We've seen some of
very,
that.
very interesting. And I guess I want to just say for those watching right now, depending on when in the week or weeks to come that you're watching this, we don't know where the situation is going to go to. Obviously, be mindful of your local and provincial
Right.
or federal recommendations. But also at the same time, Philip, I would suspect that no matter where we're at right now in terms of quarantine or lockdown or what you're allowed to do or what you shouldn't be doing from an ethical or a moral standpoint, you can start getting the gears in motion to market these kinds
That's
of things
exactly right.
once this is all over too. So there's not a lost opportunity here by any means.
That's right. Yeah, and that's a beautiful point because honestly, we all have different personality types, and all of our different personalities have different strengths, and that's what makes community better than individuality in terms of building things. So there are going to be those who are really hypersensitive. I mean, good heavens, we're like isolated here with our family. We've been following every precaution, and it's never been cleaner in our house.
Yeah.
More sanitary. So I recommend people 100% follow what the CDC and everyone recommends. And if you want to go beyond that, do it. It's important to make yourself more comfortable. But even all of us, even those of us who kind of want to retreat right now, that's fine. That's another conversation. I think if you're going to do a system like our mini session system that actually allows your business to, like 6-figure business in terms of just mini sessions that you don't even have to have a website for, then there are steps that you do before you just throw an announcement for a mini session up on Facebook. That is not step one.
Right.
Step, 10 hours of videos are step 1, 2, and 3. And those are the things that you can actually set up right now from your home. And real life is going to continue eventually. And I always think that moments like this, 3 times in our long life as a studio that's been over 12 years now, 3 times we've had not catastrophic things like this that are global, but things that for us personally were catastrophic. We built our business during the Great Recession. We had a time where a huge percentage of a huge percentage of our weddings, which at that time was all of our money, everything was in weddings, they all broke up that same year. And we all of a sudden, we lost all these weddings out from under us, just like so many are experiencing. So all these experiences we've had taught us we need to stop being artists and be business people. We need to diversify our business. And that's why we dove into the system, as crazy as it seems. And we've loved the fact that it gives us complete stability right through recessions, right through right now, we're just feeling so much more confident and comfortable because business goes on. Even though we also have lost weddings and everything right now, they're postponed and we don't know the end of that. But that's only a small percentage of our business now. So definitely encourage people to sit down, learn a lot, read a lot about copywriting and email sequencing and email marketing. That's so much more profitable than you can imagine, especially compared to social media marketing, where most of us spend our time trying to post and hoping people will see us and discover us.
Right.
Like everyone wants to be discovered and valued and seen. As businesses, over 12 years, there's been maybe 2 times that a photography company or a convention or something has reached out and invited us to something. Right. Everything in our business, we have gone out and made ourselves discoverable. So I encourage people to set those systems up now. This is the opportunity where we're pruning back our businesses, but when you prune back, that gives the opportunity for growth in the future.
I love it. That's a great way to end it. Phillip, thank you so much. We're going to link all of this stuff in the show notes. If you're listening to us now on the podcast or if you're watching us on Facebook, we're going to link all of that on here. So Phillip, thank you for everything that you do.
Awesome.
Wishing you guys health and happiness and success through this. And we'll link all this up so photographers can get access.
Same to you, resources. Bryan, everybody. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, man.
Welcome back to the Bryan of Now. Hope that you guys enjoyed that interview with Phillip, and hopefully that it gave you some ideas as to what you can be doing in order to use mini sessions as a revenue generator and how to make up some of that lost income during this time of crisis. I think the point that that I really took away from that, and again, if you guys have questions or if you want to have a dialogue or conversation, feel free to throw something in the comments below, and obviously would be happy to discuss that. But one of the things that I took away from that, or the main thing I took away from that, was that yes, mini sessions can be massively profitable. They can be a great driver for revenue in your business. It is something that you should be considering, especially right now when you're seeing some of the bigger things fall out in terms of weddings or events and cancellations and reschedules. Mini sessions might be just that good, consistent thing that if you get a good system running, you can do on a regular basis and expect and be able to predict that revenue, maybe twice a year or 3 times a year, kind of like what Phillip was saying. But the thing that I took away was that, again, it's not just something that you just, put a post up and say, hey, I'm doing Easter minis, like, let me know if you want to book. It's not just this like sporadic thing. You've got to plan for it. You've got to make content for it. You've got to answer those questions. You've got to create a bit of a sales system for it. And so right now is the time to be doing that. Right now is the time to put that content together and think about the objections and, build all that content, design the landing page, design the email sequences and to do all that stuff. So right now, do that stuff so that when it is time that, folks can be getting back outside and we can be scheduling sessions again and we can put some dates to it. I mean, even right now, you can't really even market something because, honestly, who knows when we're going back to normal? We can predict, but I don't think that if you put out a thing right now that said, hey, July 15th, we're going to book these mini sessions, I don't know if people would be in the position right now to be ready to pay for that because they don't know if July 15th is going to be back to normal, and you can't really say with certainty that it is. So I don't think now is the time to actually, open cart for those things. But now is a great time to be preparing everything and getting all the materials ready for it so that you can launch it when we do have some more insight here. Okay, so Pick Store is saying, what do you think about printed products? Easy to sell. Yeah, I think for mini sessions, I think the thing that most photographers do wrong with mini sessions is that they look at them as these cheap, commoditized type sessions. I think that mini sessions have fantastic opportunity if you do them right. If you promote them right, if you set expectations right, if you sell right, if you have a good system for it, if you handle objections properly, mini sessions can be great. And in fact, even if you just shift, if it helps in your head, shift the whole idea. They're not mini sessions, they're limited edition sessions. Even if you call them that, it just makes them feel less like you're, getting a bunch of bunnies with a standard backdrop at a mall and getting people just to kind of come through like an assembly line. That's not what mini sessions should be about. They're limited edition sessions, and basically you're able to offer a lower session fee because you do them back to back. So you're saying, hey, this Friday we're at this location, we're going to book them every hour, and because we're at the same location, you have to figure there's less travel time, there's less communication time, there's less setup time. You're there, you're all set up. So because you save time, you pass that savings on to your clients, and therefore they get to have a bit of a better price because it is this sort of back-to-back thing. But that doesn't mean that they have to be a cheap or a commoditized offering. Does that make sense? So I would say, in terms of homework, in terms of what you can be working on today, in addition to everything else we've been talking about in this marketing program, spend some time and build up. So if you want to do, use mini sessions as an opportunity for generating revenue when this is all over, spend some time to build up some of these assets and build a landing page and get some content together for it and try and walk through some of the questions that folks might have as they go through it, and make sure that you are properly, holding them by their hand and you're guiding your clients through this. And if you do it right, if you set up the right expectations, if you set up the right channels to communicate these things, you can do really well with these. And if it makes sense for you to jump into Phillip and Eileen's course, go through that, because they have a proven way of teaching this. They have a proven model that they use and that many photographers use that have gone through the course. So I recommend checking that out. if you think that now is a time that you have the energy and the margin in your schedule to go through that kind of course and to implement those kinds of things, if you want to use this as a strategy to implement in your business, then might as well learn from, folks that have done it before, as opposed to going through the school of hard knocks. Does that make sense? Anyways, that's basically it, guys. I'm going to wrap up today's live and today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, for watching. If you are here with me live right now, thank you so much for watching live. I appreciate you spending time with me. I hope that this has been helpful for you. If you're watching the replay of this, thank you again for watching the replay and for spending time with us today. We do go live every day of the week at 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time while we're in this program. And this morning we just mapped out the sort of remainder of this program, and we have the next 2 weeks filled. So yes, I know this was supposed to be a 14-day marketing challenge, but we have every day of the week, this week and next week, ready to go with content. We've got topics picked, and now we're just basically getting into rapid fire things. So the last couple of weeks we've spent working on your foundation and your website and those kinds of things, and your Facebook page and all of that. And now we're just going to every day throw you ideas and kind of just keep hammering out ideas, mini sessions and family portrait plans and gift certificates and teaching a photography course. And there's going to be just a new idea every single day, just to give you inspiration, to give you ideas, to give you concepts that you might be able to use to kick up some revenue when this is all over, and perhaps to do some work now when things are slower, to build up some of the assets and to build up some of the content and to build up some of the sort of infrastructure for this stuff. So thank you for joining. I hope that you are well. I hope that you are staying healthy, that you are staying safe, and wishing you all the happiness, all the safety, all the health through this. And we will see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday. So thank you guys again for watching, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.